What are some of the techniques to identify a team player during an interview?
So first and foremost, interviews need to be behavioral based. Okay, two primary types of interviews. The experts will all say go with a behavioral based interview. What someone has actually done is the best predictor of future success. So that's a behavioral based interview. The other type of interview is a situational, or as I like to call, a hypothetical interview. That's what you think about things and how do you see things working in the future. The fundamental difference is you can make up the latter, but you can't make up the former. Most interviews are also too short. Most of the interviews that I recommend for even mid-level executives, we do send entry-level people as well. So senior level people, it's going to be 3.5 to 4 hours. For a mid-level person, it's going to be 2 hours. For an entry, it might be 1.5 hours. We go deep. We start at high school. We ask somebody's results, their responsibilities, and how they did it at every level, at every job. And we pause, we ask questions, we ask about the mistakes. We go deep, and that is the only way to unpack what somebody has done. So if you want to know if somebody is a team player, we are literally asking for names. How was your team? Where'd your team have a setback? Who was mad at you on the team? We want the real deal, because life is far from perfect. And we want to get those gut check moments when somebody is very self-aware and said, you know what, I think I could have done better managing Sheila. Sheila was mad at me. That was disappointing. I wish I had a redo. And we want to understand how that went. When were you too rough with a team? And you can tell with a behavioral-based interview if someone is making up the answer, because we're looking for specifics.
Now, are you looking for consistency or growth?
Well, we're looking for both, right? So I can tell you a number of situations where somebody has made a mistake early in their career, and then as you go for further jobs, they've corrected a mistake. And they've actually pointed out, I learned from my lesson, here's what I did differently this time, and here's how it worked out with a better outcome.
That's fascinating. From that you can tell whether they'll fit in with your team.
You get a really good sense of someone's humility through that. And what's interesting with that intensive interview process is for the A players, it's like a highlight reel. And they can even, say some stuff that maybe they wish they hadn't have, and they kind of chuck it off, and we see their humanity in it. I think one of the fundamental mistakes people make in an interview is choosing the candidate that I'll call the show dog. And the show dog is kind of that fake person who looks great on paper but really hasn't done it. And as we think about employees on a team, I don't think anybody can ever dispute if someone's an A player, a superstar, who's nice to you, has a good attitude, but is creaming results. Maybe they don't suffer fools that well, maybe they're all business, but they're fair, they're honest, and they're just. Nobody that I've ever met has any issue with that person getting promoted because the results are there, and we just wish we had the results. The candidate that we have issues with is that person who talks a great game but never delivers. And that person I call the show dog. And the reason those intensive interviews work so well at flushing out the show dog is they can't hold their story together over a 3 to 4 hour interview. And everything is a hand wave. Well, Vanessa, you know how it is. You know how it is. Certainly you know how it is. But there's no specifics. The A player, on the other hand, wow, that was a tough situation. It took us 8 months to crack that solution. Would you like to know how we did it? And you'll get all the texture, all the details. And if they use the royal we, back to a team, well, our team did this, well, what did you do? And, we'll have executives, well, hey, I built the team. Well, hey, that's good. Well, what were you looking for? And how did you recruit and all that? Because that's maybe a skill set we want. Or how did you overcome this? And we want the how-to. And that degree of texture, and it's important that the entire leadership team sits through the entire interview, it's like a beacon of light between that top performer and that show dog. I would say it is very structured, and we are peppering them with questions. What's interesting is we give them all the time in the world to ask great questions at the end. And of course, we're evaluating the kind of questions they're asking. If they started with, hey, what's the benefits package and how much vacation? That's a pretty junior level, low level question for a senior level position. If they're talking about strategy, if they're talking about something that's pertinent and a worry that's happening in the industry, and how the company is adapting, and whether the contingency plans, those are great questions. How will we fit in? What budget will I have? What happened to the incumbent? Those are fine questions. But we want to get to truth. And what fascinates me about that process is, be known by the kind of questions you ask. And if you're asking those questions, they know that you care. And that also directly helps with the onboarding of executives.